the charges. Now, the extremely difficult and sensitive task of placing vulnerable children with foster families is being highlighted this week by court proceedings in East London. A judge has ruled that a 5-year-old Christian girl be returned to the care of family members after she was placed with a Muslim foster family. The judge urged councils to seek placements which meet children's needs in terms of ethnicity, culture and religion. Luke Hanrahan has this report.
There are more children proportionally in Tower Hamlets than anywhere else in the capital, and the greatest shortage of foster carers. A problem highlighted in a recent case involving a 5-year-old girl. Here, a legal battle between her biological mother and the council over whether the girl's foster care was appropriate to her culture, prompting this reaction about the council's decision.
Have we got enough foster carers? No. We need to find more, encourage more, help more. So that's the first point. The second one is actually local authorities can go beyond their own boundaries to find suitable homes for children in need of fostering. And the third point is that actually when we're thinking about this in sort of holistic terms, the fundamental issue is the child really getting a good deal?
Current government guidelines to councils state that a child's religious persuasion, racial origin and cultural background should be taken into consideration. But many here in London believe a family's cultural background shouldn't necessarily matter.
My family have looked after children from pretty much every ethnic background, a range of religious backgrounds, and it's never really been an issue.
Esmat's parents have fostered 60 children over 25 years.
So when a child comes into care, there's a huge amount of disruption, and so I understand the need to want to match them to somebody of a similar ethnic or religious background to try and provide that stability. However, that should not be the determining factor. As long as the child is looked after well, is cared for, and is able to develop their own self-confidence, establish their own identity, that is key for me.
In a statement, Tower Hamlets said, "Our #1 priority with foster care is ensuring a child is placed in a safe and loving environment. Once the decision was taken to place the child into temporary care, we had to find the best placement available at the time." Whether or not the council was right or wrong to place this child with a Muslim family, one thing is certain: councils need more foster carers. Luke Hanrahan, ITV News.
Well, joining me now is Andy Elvin, the Chief Executive of the Adolescent and Children's Trust, or TACT. Andy, local authorities are required, aren't they, by law to give proper consideration to a child's religion and racial origin and cultural and linguistic background when they're making a placement. Why is that?
Well, what you want to do is to match the child with someone who's very close to their background, if that's possible. But of course, it's not always possible. And especially in an emergency, sometimes children come into care under police protection powers over the weekend, and you've got an emergency list of foster carers, and you go to the foster carer who's available. Because what's important is the child has a safe and stable home to be cared in, far more than other considerations at that point.
But why isn't that safety and stability the only priority? Why are these concerns about ethnicity and culture and language, why are they written into law?
Because longer term you want to respect the child's background, and also, particularly at the start, a child's going to be subject to care proceedings which can take about 26 weeks. And the decision at the end of that case is going to be where the child is placed next. And say the child is from overseas or the family are overseas, you don't want the child to lose the language if they're going to be placed with a grandparent or an uncle and aunt back in country of origin. So that's important. But of course foster carers from all backgrounds can care for children of all backgrounds and do so successfully, particularly in a city like London, where all the things that respect that child's culture are available close at hand.
We're not going to go into the details that Luke was reporting on, the details of that case for legal reasons, but, you know, as you've alluded to, getting foster placements right is so difficult, isn't it? Perhaps one of the most difficult jobs in the whole of the public services.
Absolutely, and there is no science to matching. The most unlikely combinations of children and foster carers can turn out to be absolutely perfect, and the child can thrive that way. That's why it's important that we want foster carers of all backgrounds, of all races, of all religions, of all ages. We've got foster carers at TACT of 22, we've got foster carers in their 70s. We've got same-sex foster carers, we've got single foster carers. Anyone can foster. Single males can foster, single females can foster. We would welcome anyone to contact us or local authorities and put themselves forward to foster.
Well, how deep and how wide is that problem of the lack of foster carers right now? Are we in a crisis situation?
We're not in a crisis, I'd say. It is a straitened situation, and we could do with lots more foster carers for teenagers and for sibling groups. Foster carers for children of the age of the child in this case are not so difficult to find generally. But one of the important things to remember is that every day and every week, children of Muslim backgrounds and of black and minority ethnic backgrounds are placed with white carers, and the press doesn't seem so interested in that.
OK, Andy, we're grateful to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much.
A 56-year-old man has been named as